Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's Jazzy of Video Store Sasquatch here, and we are doing another Monday morning review. I went to the theaters last night and I saw the movie The Crow, directed by Rupert Sanders, starring Bill Skarsgård as Eric, FKA Twigs as Shelly, Danny Houston as Vincent Rogue, and Josette Simon as Sophia. Eric and Shelly are cellmates who are brutally murdered together, and then Eric must sacrifice his soul and get their revenge. That is what the movie is about here. We start with Shelly taking a call from a friend who sent her this video about what Vincent Rogue does pretty much. They actually captured it on a cell phone here with their friends, and this is pretty much a catalyst for everything. Shelly takes off from her house to go and find her friend. And in this, she's being followed. And then actually, she does something smart. She just kind of breaks open her purse and lets everything fall out in front of police and all the drugs and all that. So that's how she gets sent to the rehab center. And that is where we meet. And that is where we meet Eric here. And in the meantime, before we get there, we see Vincent Rogue for the first time. And we find out that his deal is pretty much he has to send innocent souls to hell as a bargain to stay alive. He's been doing this for centuries, he pretty much said. So, at least since the 1600s. We meet Eric at his home, at the home, and he's being picked on. He's like 6'5", so I don't know why people are picking on him. I don't know if that's the guy I would have picked on. He's heavily tatted. We see the scars here. It's definitely like an emo crow, which is exactly what I was like fearing this movie was going to be. Was I was just watching this emotional guy and this emotional girl as they kind of fall in love, and that's exactly what this movie was. Like, that's exactly what happens here, and then eventually they see the death, and she goes to the spirit world here, and that's everything. The movie's not very good overall. Inside the hour and 50 minutes run, there is about an hour worth of movie you could watch. The opera scene mostly. Here is what I'm talking about. We get stuck with, like I said, a crappy emo crow punk movie instead of the something that could have been halfway decent. The couple things I did like about it was I liked it just in the spirit guide and his like influence over um, Eric here. And unfortunately, we can't have the original crow, but I think that like if we could have found an old crow or something like that, or at least known that this guy was a crow or had the crow soul at one point in time tie with him, it would have been a little bit better. Because you know what I mean? You could add just a little bit more story to it, a little bit background, just a little bit more detail. Bill Skarsgård's really good in this, and I think after Boy Kills World, like everyone kind of realizes he's about to be an action star. He's like every bit of 6'5", and he's jacked in this. He's the same way in that movie. The the little detail I caught was the constant scarring from whenever he gets shot or stabbed or wherever right here. But what I just pretty much want to go into is there's three things that I think that we could have adapted or made a little bit different for this movie, and it would have set it up a little bit more. First off, it was an hour and 50 minutes, so we're gonna probably cut it down to about an hour and a half. So we're gonna eliminate about 20 minutes of stuff here. And the first thing I do is instead of putting this punk pop background like soulless music, I'd probably put some metal, or even if it's like an older band like Korn or Anthrax or anything like that, just some metal with a guitar line and a heavy bass line with the drums and stuff like that. I think it would have been a lot better in a lot of these different scenes here. It would have sounded better. And that was another thing that I probably had a problem. We were in a theater, and I feel like I was like, turn up the stuff. I can't hear them. I can't hear this. I can't hear that. Music's flat. This is a Lionsgate movie. I don't know if that's like a Lionsgate thing or something, because I do feel like it was the same way with Borderlands. With like the music would be like flat, where you want to be loud and like take over, especially in a theater where that's where you expect it. It feels like I bootlegged it somewhere. Anyways, so then two, I would change out the girl for someone better, just someone who's actually an actress here, who's done some film work, because I think that it takes away that she's not very good of an actress, and it takes away the connection between her and Eric, and it also like it affects the movie because now you don't believe that they could be in love, and he's the one thing you gotta remember is this dude's like huge, like he's so towering over everyone that maybe like someone a little bit taller or a little bit better frame for him would have been different. Would have been better shots, better stuff like this. It would have made this a little bit better. And then when you're going into just changing the girl, I'd change the girl's character a lot more. I probably would have kept the beginning where we are, and I probably would have dropped maybe 20 minutes of them like falling in love and stuff like that, and maybe just hit the high points and then moved on to the death because that's where this movie dragged. Was it was like it took forever to get to the point to where they died and to even for him to start. And then he also is like a false stutter too when he starts. He has to go back, so I didn't really dig that, but. If we keep that, the third thing I would change is a better bad guy. I for some reason Adam Driver came to mind, but I highly doubt you get someone that like that into this movie. But he would be good because he's also very tall. He's young, and we would actually get a fight. So when we're changing the villain here and we're changing all this, the little like story changes things I would have changed is putting, like I said, I would probably would have kept the beginning here. We get the girl, we send her into the rehab home with Eric here. They meet, they do their thing, they escape. And after they escape, instead of like a 20-minute long thing where we're explaining it, and it just kind of goes nowhere and it just kind of stalls the whole movie. I would have just did like a quick 2-minute montage of them doing this and then doing that and then doing that and then hitting to the part to where they're at the bridge. And then I would have cut like I said, the first part of where he stuttered here because I don't think that's very intricate into the part. And if anything, it just like doubles down on what it makes this movie bad. Is like it makes him go back to the guy, and the guy has to give him again another chance. And I don't think that's very good. And since we're changing the bad guy to a younger guy instead of someone who's so old like Danny Houston, we're actually going to get into a fight with these guys, which would be better. And also, I could see that power being used in the opera scene the opera scene to be like the focus of these guys attacking him and stuff like that. I think that would have been better off. Or like I said, there is about an hour of this movie that's really good, and there's really good key concepts in this hour that's good. If we could just kind of put 30 minutes on that instead of 50 minutes on it, this movie would be a lot better. I went ahead and gave it action revenge D and an overall D minus. It was very slow. One action packed scene, the opera scene, I probably did more. The problem you're gonna have on streaming, I guarantee, is that same thing I had with another Lionsgate movie is the I told you about where you're gonna have to switch the speaker settings to hear these guys talk or to not have the music be over in. I don't know what it is. I think that maybe that Lionsgate was coming at the end of their intellectual property ownership of this or something because I don't think anyone was really begging for a Crow remake. As a matter of fact, when you kind of say Crow remake or Crow this or revive Crow, you kind of get fans the hardcore fans of the Crow just are very standoffish, and I don't blame them because I personally am not like a huge fan of it, but like I get it. It's one of the better movies of all time, and to even try it is hard to do. And then when you do it, when you kind of get this stutter step of a thing here with this movie, is the basic way I can say it is it just is not very good. I'm sure that Bill Skarsgård is gonna be fine. I bet we won't see much of that FAW twig or whatever. And I think I did one where I was like, Vinny Houston's a bad guy, and from like the '90s, you know what I mean? So he's just gonna stick around. He'll be a movie after movie. He could just gonna be movies or whatever they have to do, and be fine. I don't think this movie's gonna hurt anyone's career, but this is a bomb. It failed on every like, it failed like almost on like every level. Because I told you the sound wasn't very good. The only thing that was very good was visually. It was cool visually. Like that's a plus in their favor, I guess. But that's why he didn't get an F, pretty much. It had that one little saving grace. Is it had a good lead with Bill Skarsgård, but it also had a very stylish look, and you added on to the lore of the Crow. And another thing is, I don't like the tattoos on this dude. They kind of overdid it with the Joker. They probably could have kept the triangle one, the one in the back, and maybe like obviously the one on his hand because that's most important. Smile now, cry later. But I think you could have kind of went away with less tattoos on him, and it would have been better. He has his whole face tattooed up. He looks like a punk. they get the punk rock music behind it. It just this is movie. Stay away from this movie. Definitely, I earned my tagline here by sitting in here for an hour and 50 minutes. I was ready to leave about 20 minutes into it. Stayed for the whole movie. I'm kind of glad I did because I did like the opera scene, so I did like one little thing from it, and that was about like 30 minutes. You know what I mean? And like I said, we have about an hour, 50 minutes. I think I'm being generous an hour. I'd say more like 45 minutes of this runtime is good. There are good stuff in it. So there, you can nitpick it. If you are gonna watch it, I just go ahead and fast forward it to the second part when he comes back, and then just go from there. 'Cause it'll be fine. Thank you guys very much for watching. Have a good rest of your day. Have a good rest of your night. Please comment any movie you'd like me to watch, and like and subscribe. Have a good rest of your night, guys. Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. Comment your top movie picks for Throwback Thursday in the comment section. And see you next time in the cave.